Hello world, this is the Prod Layer Proof of Concept demo team doing what we do, which is tracking the Mojo phenomenon and showing the methodology that we use to do so. We're going to have a normal 3-act structure. Act 1 is the basics, and we're going to be doing collaging to show the physiological cues on real samples and then linking that with the names, the descriptive names we use for describing them. And then in Act 2, that is the main proof of concept portion. That's where we do the weekly reads. The team has had a week under blind test conditions to look at 5 to 10 samples, and now we're going to see what the cohesion of accuracy is, and the more challenging samples we'll spend some time reviewing. This week's samples came from Malcolm. They were quite interesting. I think we're going to have a lot of fun looking at them tonight, some different riffs in there. And then for the advanced portion, we'll be doing a live read on one of Malcolm's samples, possibly 2 if we have time, and you'll see the team doing what they do, which is a Mojo read in real time. Back and forth, talking about what they're seeing, what they might be seeing, and weighing the various options. And it's the same kind of mental activity you want to be having as a Mojo reader yourself. Introductions, and we'll get going. I am Nai G Coach.
I am Jaini Jailin.
I'm Zaini Adimas.
I am Nai G Ben.
This is Naiji Glenn.
Nijai Bruno.
Excellent. So, collage, where are we?
Okay, we are in the TV show timeline from 2005 through 2009, and we are starting off today with Big Bang Theory. That's right. So we'll start off round robin, starting with Coach. Read the descriptions of the shows, and then the cast and their mojo. And for our first turns, we'll call out one cue for that particular mojo, and then anytime there's a new gender mojo that appears, we'll also call out a cue for them. So,
all
Coach,
right. Yes, we are getting up to our recent history. We watched a lot of this, didn't we, Demas?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
It's still running. Still got juice. All right. A woman who moves into an apartment across the hall from 2 brilliant but socially awkward physicists shows them how little they know about the life outside of the laboratory. Leonard Hofstadter and Sheldon Cooper are both brilliant physicists working at Caltech in Pasadena, California. They're colleagues, best friends, and roommates, although in all capacities their relationship is always tested primarily by Sheldon's regimented, deeply eccentric, and non-conventional ways. They're also friends with their Caltech colleagues, mechanical engineer Howard Wolowitz and astrophysicist Rajesh Kutapalli. The foursome spend their time working on their individual work projects, playing video games, watching science fiction movies, or reading comic books. As they are self-professed nerds, all have little or no luck with popular women. When Penny, a pretty woman, an aspiring actress originally from Omaha, moves into the apartment across the hall from Leonard and Sheldon's, Leonard has another aspiration in life, namely to get Penny to be his girlfriend.
Hey. Zaini Jim Parsons as Sheldon Cooper. I'll call out a cue here. Zaini have as their second power of knee, and you see that in their eyes. They have the knee eyes that have that laughing, receptive, open quality, very playful look, and he has that in both images, of course.
Ginai Johnny Galecki as Leonard Hofstadter. Okay, so the Ginai have they're G alpha, which makes them discernment leads. So they have something that we call a unifield face, or in the case of specifically the Ginai, the helmet of caring. So that means the emotive expression that emanates from their mouth that goes all the way up their face and into the eyes. This connectivity of their emoting kind of unites their face into this unifield quality where you see the discernment going into the eyes, toning it, and connecting around the face. Also, it means their mouth will pop first. More you know.
Right.
Nijai Kaylee Kuko. Nijai have Jai unaware mouth, and that gives a signal of poignancy up from the mouth area all the way up to the brim line of the face, but not into the eyes because they are unifield as opposed to bifield like we saw with the Ginai that Demas just read.
Other way around. The Xi
Oh,
and I are unified.
I meant the other way around.
Naiji Simon Helberg as Howard Wolowitz. So with the Naiji, they also have G, but for them, they have it as their tandem power, and it goes all the way up to the brim line of their face, which is right below, which means that it goes all the way up, but just not into the eyes like it would for like Johnny Galecki, who's a Genii. And that also gives him a bifield face, which has the eyes separate from the bottom half of his face, and his mouth also does pop out. But his eyes pop out more so than their mouth, actually.
Naiji Kunal Nayar. So the Naiji have V polar, and that manifests itself in an amped drinking in signal, and you can see that pretty clearly on the left. It's sort of combining with the G and heavily interacting with the environment, as opposed to the one on the right, which is basically the opposite. He seems to be channeling inward and weighing with the Nyan's eye. So it's a pretty good contrast there of the objective and subjective powers of the Naiji.
Nice.
Nizai, Melissa Rausch. Melissa Rausch, as a Nizai, is one of the Zez gatherers, and a distinguishing feature of them is the Cheshire Cat or Sharky smile, and that is because it tends to be quite large and expressive, but it does not go above the midline into the cheeks. So you can see it more here on the left, where she's giving a fairly large smile, but the cheeks are not moving. Eyes pop, then cheeks, then the mouth.
Nijai Mayan Bialik.
Jaini Kevin Sussman. Okay, so Jaini or new? Let's talk about Jaini. Okay, so let's see. All right, so let's contrast it to the last one I did. The Jaini are Jai Alpha, so they're also lead discerners like the Genii. The only difference is they have Jai. So that unifield face, you also see the emoting beginning from the mouth and emanating all the way into the eyes and into the face. However, with the Jaini, it's unaware emotive expression. So, like if you look at the one on the left, you see this expectant quality. He's posing for a camera, and so since it's unaware, then the smile's not quite as on target as it is for the Shimojo, but you do see an expectancy in the face. So the Jai is kind of taking on this pre-emoting as if it's waiting to be hit by something and react to it. Yeah.
Oh, my turn. Naizi, John Ross Bowie. Naizi have they have Jai as their offside power. I read the Jai last time. The difference is that Naizi are logic based, so the Jai unaware emoting that they have, instead of going up above the line of the face, it will only go up to it will stop. It will not go readily and easily above the midline of the face. And for them, because their Zez power is in the tandem position as opposed to the source position, being a logic-based mojo, the Jai will go all the way up to the midline of the face, just not above it, as opposed to right up to the lip line for, say, a Zenai.
Nice.
Nijai Artiman. We already did Nijai, right?
Yep.
Naizi Brian George.
Naiji Will Wheaton. That's Will Wheaton.
That's where we end. Nizai Alice Amter.
Demas?
Zenai Sarah Gilbert, also new. Okay. The Zenai are logic-based mojos. I keep getting all the lead discerners, but okay. So, all right. So the Xeni, they also have a Zhai unaware mode of expression, but they're not a Zhai mojo. They're a Z mojo. What does that mean? I'll tell you. It means disease ranked higher. So that means their Zhai is going to be localized to the mouth region, and it's not going to be able to move readily up the midline. So you're not going to see very much emotive expressioning happening above the cheeks, at the cheeks or above the cheeks. So you can see, let's use the left as an example because she's actually doing emoting. You can see that there is unaware expressioning because it's shy, but it's not going very far into those cheeks. Now look up, and then if you look on the right, you can see that there is this sheer anvil quality to her cheeks because that is source power level Z, source power level anvil that you're seeing. So it has that bam, full bracing quality. The end.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, Naiji Laura Spencer. We haven't done Naiji females, have we?
No, we haven't.
All right. So Naiji have they have Nai as their source power. This gives their eyes a cunning signal, and because they are perception lead mojos, their eyes will pop first. So the most prominent, the most impactful, the first thing that will pop out to you is their Nai cunning eyes.
Nijai Kate Misusi.
Wasn't she updated to Zaini? She works with Nice.
Yes. Nice.
Good call.
Thank you.
Right, so that makes her new, doesn't it?
That makes her new. That's right.
Right, cool.
So I retrieve that.
Yeah, I was just looking at her. I was like, "There's something off about her. I don't know if she's a Nijai."
Now, ta-da! Okay.
Because you're actually a Zaini, Kate. So, all right.
And she's really nervous for it for Ziny. So kind of unusual.
Yeah. It seems a little unusual, but still Zaini.
Right. Okay. So with the Zaini, they have G as their polar power, and that gives them a localized quality in their mouth area, which makes it so that their emoting does not go past the lip line. And yeah, because it's the Zai that's their source power, which is the unflappable that curtains all the way throughout their entire face, and it's just the mouth area that the G is most notable in for the Zaini. And she has a fairly wide face, so you might think Nizai, I think, a little bit, but and her smile is kind of wide too, so you might think Cheshire, but those are hooded eyes, and that is localized G emoting.
IZ Lori Metcalf. Is that new?
That is new.
Okay. Yeah, in contrast with Kate Mikushi that Glenn just read or just described above, Lori Metcalf has a pretty typical subjective face. It's elongated, more elliptical. You can see the lines are generally longer and thinner than they would be for an objective. And in this particular case, it's a directive subjective. So I'm sorry, it's actually rectangular. Her face is more rectangular rather than elliptical, because she's a directive, subjective directive mojo.
Yep.
Oh, Mitchell's here.
Oh, cool.
Hola, Mitchell.
Nizai Brian Smith. Have you done Nizai Mills yet?
No, I don't think so.
All right, so this time I'll take him as a gatherer in general. Nizai are gatherers. So he's going to have the large drinking in eyes, the receptive eyes that are taking in the environment. In his case, they're the dancing eyes of the interpreter. But the main thing I'll focus on is the amount of drinking in he's doing and the comfortability in that drinking in state.
Nice, Christine Baranski.
Demas.
It's a Demas, yeah.
Oh yeah, the Guild. The show revolves around the lives of, I'm going to say, an online guild, the Knights of Good, who play countless hours of an unnamed MMORPG video game. The story focuses on Codex, the guild's priestess, who attempts to lead a normal life after one of her guildmates, Warlock Zabu, shows up on her doorstep.
Mitchell, your turn.
Ziny Felicia Day. Am I?
Yeah,
like,
it's your first turn.
actually, okay. So, as a Ziny, you can see that she is Zez Alpha. She has the values-based expressioning only staying at the mouth, even when she's like doing some mode of expression up to a noticeable degree. Doesn't go for cheeks at all or into the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Sandeep Parky? I think is Johnny male new or is that?
We've done that one.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
It's changed.
Nizy Jeff Lewis.
Robin Thorson.
She's changed it.
Naizi Amy Akuda.
Nizy Vincent Cazo.
Naiji Will Wheaton.
Nazim Shellboyd.
John Adams. The life of one of the USA's founding fathers, its second president, and his role in the nation's first 50 years.
Jaini Paul Giamatti.
Johnny Laura Linney.
And Jaini John Dossett.
Lots of shiny so far.
Got off to a very shiny start.
Naiji Stephen Delane.
Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, he's the same guy from Game of Thrones. Never mind.
Stannis Baratheon, yeah. Shiny Sarah Polly. Back to shiny.
Back to shiny.
Wow.
Shiny Samuel Barnett.
Yeah. They definitely gave a very empathetic view of the characters.
This guy is shy too. Nizy David Morse.
Nizy Andrew Scott, also known as the dude from Sherlock. What's his name?
Oh yeah.
Moriarty.
Nizy Danny Houston.
Jaini Eben Moss Backrack. Backrack? Backrack.
Bachrock.
Back.
Backrack. Jaini Stephen Hinkle.
Shiny Madeline Taylor.
Najeem Emmy Gummer.
He's Meryl Streep's daughter.
Oh, it's Marnie.
Oh, Marnie.
Mm-hmm.
So not RN.
Shiny Kevin Trainer.
That sounds a little better, actually.
Uh-huh.
Jaini Tim Wilkinson. There's Benjamin Franklin. He's got all the Benjamins.
Is it Bruno?
Oh, sorry. Michael Hall Daddario pending.
Naizi Rufus Sewell. A lot of stuff.
Nizy Justin Theroux, the fiance of Jennifer Aniston.
Legend of the Seeker. Watch a little bit of this. After the mysterious murder of his father, a son's search for answers begins a momentous fight against tyranny. Millions of readers the world over have held spellbound by this valiant tale vividly told. Now enter Terry Goodkind's world, the world of the Sword of Truth. In the aftermath of the brutal murder of his father, a mysterious woman, Kalan Amnel, appears in Richard Cypher's forest sanctuary seeking help, and more. His world, his very beliefs, are shattered when ancient debts come due with thundering violence. In their darkest hour, hunted relentlessly, tormented by treachery and loss, Kalan calls upon Richard to reach beyond his sword, to invoke within himself something more noble. Neither knows that the rules of battle have just changed or that their time has run out. This is the beginning. One story, one rule. Witness the birth of a legend.
Dun, dun, dun.
It's quite the elevator speech.
Yeah.
Naishi Craig Horner.
Najib Bridget Reagan.
Jane Carter, she's the bad one.
Oh, that's right, Agent Carter.
Yeah.
She's
A Russian spy.
Jaini Bruce Spence.
Zedekus Zulzarande. That's quite the name.
It makes you go to sleep almost.
Sorry, what was that? Was that you, Glenn?
Yeah.
Okay. Jaini Craig Parker.
Soft read.
Genai Tabrit Bethel. Soft read.
Okay. Leverage. A crew of high-tech crooks attempt to steal from wealthy criminals and corrupt businessmen. Former insurance claims investigator Nathan Ford heads a team of former top criminals. They handle unorthodox cases of people unlikely to get their dues through regular channels and legal procedures that often involve stinging or otherwise scamming criminals. Nate's team is altered at times, and his professional as well as personal past repeatedly seems to catch up.
Nice, Timothy Hutton.
Nizai Gina Bellman.
Jivai Christian Kane. So Jivai is new. Jivai, they also, they have the unifield quality. But what we want to talk about is the Vi concern eyes, because the difference between the Jinai and the Jivai most prominently and noticeably going to be the fact that their eyes, instead of having the distinct signal of dissatisfaction underneath the G carrying, are going to have the distinct signal of concern. It's going to have a pinched, staunch quality.
Nizai Beth R.
Rees graph. I don't know. That's probably how I'd say it.
Yeah.
Genai Aldous Hodge.
Merlin. Oh, here we go.
This is
The
a good show.
adventures of a legendary sorcerer as a young man. Young Merlin is a teenager, discovering and then learning to master his magical gift. Magister Gaius, King Uther Pendragon's learned court physician, to whom he's assigned as humble page, teaches him medicine, coaches his magical self-study, and warns him of Uther's strong aversion to magic. Merlin becomes squire to the noble but imprudent crown prince Arthur, whose fate is linked with Merlin.
Classic. Nice. John Hurt as the dragon. And processing. Yep. Hold on a second here.
Naishi Colin Morgan as Merlin.
Genai Bradley James is Arthur.
Pending Richard Wilson.
Jaini Angel Colby.
Jaini Katie McGrath.
Hold on.
Nizi Anthony Heed. Ahead.
Dragon. Nice Z Rupert Young.
Naishi Yoan Mackin.
Jinai Tom Hopper.
Oh yeah, he's from Black Sails too.
Oh yeah, he is.
Mm.
Oh, my bad. Jinai added and told me what Evan.
Nice.
Nizy Nathaniel Parker. I've seen his face a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Nizai Emilia Fox.
Goes.
All right, Breaking Bad. Here we go. I never quite got into this one as much as other people did, but I did
Yeah.
see a little bit of it. Are other people fans of this show?
I know that it's really considered amazing by people
Yeah.
at large, but I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah, I watched a little bit, and I know it's got a really good reputation.
It just gets worse and worse and more terrible. It's just like a total train wreck. It's horrible. I mean, I guess people like that, but it's just a big tragedy.
Yeah, because there was like enough of that in the first season. I was like, okay, I think I'm gonna jump this trip.
I know for a lot of people it's really like engrossing. Like I mean I know it's really dark, but that
it's
can be
well done.
It's like a very compelling story.
Is this sort of like The Sopranos in a way?
I guess so in a certain way.
A little bit.
Like a tragedy, and you just kind of go along with the ride, but it's very well written and well acted.
He starts from like the side of like being a law-abiding person, and then
He doesn't stay there very long. I mean, he's
No.
pretty much out of that like quickly.
Yeah.
cooking meth pretty quickly.
It's very much like a classical. It's a very classic story. Like a good character starts out kind of good, and then things just go really, really bad. Like nobody survives. Everybody dies.
And how does a human break down? Let's watch.
Yeah.
A chemistry teacher diagnosed with terminal lung cancer teams up with his former student, Jesse Pinkman, to cook and sell crystal meth. When chemistry teacher Walter White is diagnosed with stage 3 cancer, given only 2 years to live, he decides he has nothing to lose. He lives with his teenage son, who has cerebral palsy, and his wife in New Mexico. Determined to ensure that his family will have a secure future, Walt embarks on a career of drugs and crime. He proves to be remarkably proficient to this new world as he begins manufacturing and selling methamphetamine with one of his former students. The series tracks the impacts of a fatal diagnosis on a regular, hard-working man and explores how a fatal diagnosis affects his morality and transforms him into a major player of the drug trade.
because that's what happens.
That's what happens.
Nizy Bryan Cranston as Walter White.
He's come a long way since Malcolm in the Middle.
Ziny and a gun.
Naiji Aaron Hall.
Jinai Dean Norris.
Eugenie Betsy Brandt.
Benai R.J. Mitt.
Nizy Bob Odenkirk.
Stephen Michael Quezada is pending.
Nizy Jonathan Banks.
Has he ever played anything but Batty?
Oh,
Jinai
sorry. Go ahead.
Giancarlo Esposito.
He's been upgraded. Updated.
Yay, Fringe. A television drama centered around a female FBI agent who is forced to work with an institutionalized scientist in order to rationalize a brewing storm of unexplained phenomena. The FBI teams up with a formerly institutionalized scientist who is performing experiments on the fringe of real science, and his son to investigate weird crimes that are seemingly part of a larger pattern, and may be connected with a global company called Massive Dynamic.
Naiji Anator. Bruno.
Sorry. Nizy Joshua Jackson.
My man, Nizy John Noble, mad scientist.
Walter Bishop. Nijai Jessica Nicole.
Nizy Lance Reddick.
Najee Blair Brown.
Sharp.
Najee Michael Severus as the Observer.
Mm-hmm.
Ginai Kirk Acevedo.
Najee Seth Gable.
Like Cillian Murphy.
Nizy Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, he does stuff other than Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. Najee Jared Harris. Okay, and we will stop there. We'll start off with True Blood next time.
Light day. All right, so quiz time.
Haha. All right. Exciting. Okay, so let's see. So these week's sample come from Malcolm. We'll start off with you, Bruno.
I never got the samples. I don't think he posted them online.
Yeah, they are there.
They're on the forum?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well,
They were up above, like,
oh.
them on.
Yeah. Were you able to do them?
You know what? You guys mind if I'm gonna skip this first one, but do you mind if I actually guess on the next one? Right now, just based on the pictures, like 2-second read.
Yeah, they're the ones that.
Just like let you do that for the first one, you just like go ahead.
What's that?
If you want, how about we just let you do that for the?
Yeah, so just go.
Like, if you
go
want to do
last.
that, I mean.
You should first do influence.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip the first one. So
You're gonna skip the first one.
I guess I'll just guess IG as a default. How about that?
Okay. Okay, so this is Rod Gilbert, British comedian and TV presenter. What'd you guess, Glenn?
For him, I said Najee.
How about you, Ben?
I said Nizy.
I said Najee.
I said Nizy.
I went with Nizy on him.
He is dun 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 Nizy.
Ah.
Okay, next, Ruby Wax, American-born comedian, involved in the discussion of mental illness and specifically depression. What do you guess on this one, Bruno?
How about G9?
What's that? I couldn't hear.
How about Z9?
Okay, cool.
Same.
I guess Nizy.
I said Z9.
I said Z9.
I went with Zenai on him.
Zena, she is.
Yay. She did have a lot of 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Sharon Osbourne.
Yeah, same.
Michael Gove is a British conservative politician. How do you? What's your guess for him, Bruno?
By G?
Yeah, Paiji for me.
By G.
By G.
By G.
By G.
She.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay, go team.
It was actually pretty tough for me. I considered.
I agree. Yeah.
I considered things like Xena. I considered even things like Nizai.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I considered the by Z a little bit too.
Me
Oh,
too.
me too. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. That's really bad.
Yeah.
Did an odd mouth.
Mouth.
He
Yeah.
likes weird things with it, but I have seen G users do that before.
Yeah, same. Yeah. He's an interesting case.
Maybe scroll there. You just go back to the.
Something wrong?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a kind of softer face.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It helped for me to look at younger pictures of him.
Yeah. Okay. Next, Tom Carriage, British chef. What do you guess, Bruno?
Nijai?
Yeah, Nijai.
Vijay.
Nijai, although.
Ijai.
I said Nijai.
I knew this one was going to be hard.
Oh, man.
I believe this is Jaine.
Oh.
And his heft, he gained
Yeah,
more and more
he's
heft over the
large.
years.
Yeah.
But if you look younger and younger and younger, you'll be able to see it more and more and more.
Oh, I was seeing a lot of
That makes
values,
sense.
actually.
Yeah.
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 To be honest, I didn't really give much consideration to it.
Because I was between,
didn't-
I
yeah.
was strongly between Naiji and Nijai, and now I know why. It's like he seemed subjective, but like with Ni and Jai.
Yeah, I think he's sort of like Andre the Giant in a way.
Oh.
I can see that.
All right. Well, on to the next one. Miranda.
We'll be reviewing that one.
Yeah, I guess so. Miranda July, American filmmaker, actor, actress, and author. What do you guess for her, Bruno?
Oh, who is that? Nija.
Okay.
I said Naiji.
Oh, yeah, that's what yeah.
She's really tough for me. I guess Shiny.
Okay.
I said Nijad.
Okay.
Naiji.
I guessed Nizy on her.
She was another toughie, but someone did get her. Nice to
Nizy.
Nizi. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Seemed like some of the just a sensitive.
I considered it, but didn't take it seriously.
Yeah, she just jumped out of like as a Nizy style comedian, but just like sensitive. Kind of like the idiot sitter, the one that plays the idiot sitter. That energy. Okay, optionals. First one is Jim Al-Khalili, a British theoretical physicist and broadcaster. What do you guess for him, Bruno?
Nizai.
Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the harder ones, I think. I went with Nizai.
Pass on optional.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
I said Naiji.
He was tricky. A lot of shiny baby energy going on. But I think it's Naiji with shiny baby.
Cool.
So he is Naiji?
Yeah.
He is
I
Naiji.
thought I was seeing values based, and he also has kind
Yeah,
of a
me
wide
too.
head.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get the values out. I'm like,
I was actually between
It's like
Naiji and
shiny,
Vaiji.
lighted
I was
quality.
between Naiji and Vaiji, actually.
and the seriousness.
Yeah. I was between Naiji and Nizai.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Me was the Ni Alpha. I didn't even consider the Naiji that seriously.
Next one, Fatima Bhutto, Pakistani poet and author. What do you guess for her, Bruno?
Naiji.
Yeah, Naiji.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it my turn?
It's Ben's.
I think you
he's-
passed
Oh,
that.
I passed on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
So I'm
bad.
not, yeah,
Sorry.
I said Z9.
Cool.
I said Shiny.
I said Zenai.
She was tough. She was quite tough. I believe that is a Naiji with a broad face. I think Eagle Eye guessed Zinai. That was one I was between the two Durhams. Because I can see why people are thinking Zinai. She had quite the full face. But I believe there's a full face hunter. I think Naiji.
Yeah, there was quite a few pictures of her and Jemima Khan, who's also an IG. They're supposedly good friends. But I guess you can't go off of that. But
Right.
should have been a clue. All right. Will Self, novelist and journalist. What do you guess for him, Bruno?
Vaiji.
I said Zaini.
Okay.
I said Ziny too.
Ziny.
I went with Nizy on him.
He was tough. I went between Vaiji and Ziny as well, but I believe it's a Vaiji.
Yeah, it makes sense.
His
Seemed
mouth
really looked really steely.
Yeah.
very
But he
steep,
did,
and the
the
mouth
hands
really-
weren't really spider.
I believe when I was watching him, we can look into it. I believe I'm seeing Hunter Hunch and the way he was dialing in on things and his articulation. But he was tricky. He had a lot of Zai and an unusually shaped mouth also.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one is Julia Wild, a science enthusiast and blogger. What did you guess, Bruno?
Zenai.
I said Zaini.
I said Naiji.
Ziny.
I said Nizy.
Ziny it is.
Ziny.
Demas.
All right.
Right.
Wait, there's one more.
Oh, one more.
Rochelle Hume, British singer and TV presenter. What do you guess on her, Bruno?
Zenai.
Okay.
I have to say Jaivi.
I said Jivey too.
I also said Jivey.
I also said Jivey.
A lot of people guess IV, but I believe she's a Ginai.
I was saying Beyonce.
I was too.
Yeah, me too.
She looked long and towery.
Totally.
I believe she's a G9, and I believe her fella, you can take a look, I believe her fella is a G9.
Yeah, he did look shy alpha.
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, what are you gonna do?
I guess the first one we'll take a look at is Tom Carriage, the Jaini.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
British chef.
Sure.
He did certain things to remind me of from Agent Carter, Darcy.
Oh.
Hugh Darcy.
You Darcy?
Hugh Darcy.
Yeah.
He plays the chauffeur.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The butler, yeah.
It's much easier to see him when he is a bit younger. As he gets heftier, it's harder and harder.
Tom Carriage is here. Hello. Hello. How are you?
When he was
Yeah,
young,
I
I
can
think
see-
he was
Mouth,
great.
Yeah.
mouth pops.
I can see Darcy.
The mouth pops. He also is more averse to eye contact.
So I didn't bring it back. No. Of course I didn't. You just read it. I didn't have a cook.
Okay, that emoting is going quite high in the face. Here.
Yeah, that was one of the things I noticed like right away.
There. Like even when he goes into his knee and to his vide, a lot of emoting is going on at that time, more so than, like I say, the knee jive, which most people thought. When they get into their abstraction mode, they'll still kind of bobble as they do so because they're accessing a lot of knee. So sometimes they kind of go into their head, they'll bobble along. He's kind of getting more of that, poignancy, getting deeper, getting more centered as he goes in.
Hmm. Yeah.
People cook at home and then put it into. Okay, you're already doing the chili con carne. You're already roasting the chicken.
Again, he's not looking much at the person. So an objective usually would do. Even nervous objectives tend to just look more. He prefers not to look when he's getting his stuff. And there's a lot of heaviness in the voice.
Is Luis Guzman shiny?
Yes, he is.
Never. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me of him.
And you're right. He's another one who's a bit heavier, so it's a little hard to tell. I pulled him numerous times to make sure he's not a knee shy, but each time I'm like, no. Him and Danny DeVito, I keep pulling him. But I'm like, no, I think they're just a little heavier shiny.
Yeah.
Trying to make it a bit better. You already know what you're doing. Let's
Make it better, make it better. There's a lot of just settling into everything he's saying.
few bits of technique in there to make what you already do better than it already.
And this one here, he actually is not that heavy, so it's a lot easier to see. Are you guys seeing it here a bit now?
Yeah, I'm seeing the mauve tone in the eyes.
Yeah. The emoting was, it is definitely notable.
Try to stay locked on that. Try to stay tracking that. Let's put on another video of his, which was challenging, one where he's a bit heavier, and see if you can still see it, because it does make it more challenging.
I think you have it the other way around, Coach. I think he lost weight. I'm not sure about that.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Thank you for that. But the states where he is heavier, carrying more girth, I think were more challenging. And am I to understand that this weight loss then is more recent? Because it seemed like the media had more of him heavier, at least.
Oh, I see.
So you're probably right. I'm sure you. I haven't looked into that as much, so you probably did do it recently. I mean, he's now in his current form the slender one, but I don't think, as far as his time from being famous, that he spent most of the time in that shape. Not according to the pictures and the videos I saw. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing that other people did as well, because I remember thinking when I saw him, like, they're probably going to guess Nijai. And now when I was looking at the media, I'm like, there's a lot of media of him in a heavier state. That's going to be tricky. So if you guys feel you got a bit tracked on him now, let's see him in one of those heavier states.
It's like Shapers, Half the Fat, like Love Life. So
I'm not sure if this is what weight this is at, but it's recent.
Fast forward a little bit. What's recent? Maybe he's gonna be leaner. Let's see. There you go. That's heavier.
About 6 times the garden.
He's still got the longness in the face and the body. I can still see that, actually.
Yes, I'm not a racing fan. I don't know anything about racing. But the idea of being involved in something so amazingly British, something that's an amazing event, and we're very good in this country at doing occasions, and to be a part of such a great occasion was a definite yes. When I originally got the call, the initial...
Yeah, he looks away quite a bit.
Yeah, I don't feel like he did have that subjective quality to the eyes, good quality.
Yeah.
the only cover two.
Shiny males are going to be really tricky anytime they're being read, I think. They're just, I think the natural inclination is always to put Naiji or Nijai.
A lot of heaviness on the tongue, too.
Something that
He
is
settles in,
high
into it.
range, high end, but also a little bit classy, but it is accessible, you know, and it is.
Those hands of Franzi, yeah, very
collapsible. I think they kind of transcend into an event like this. So the brief is trying
The girth kind of made me think Gumby, actually, yeah. But
very, very well.
That smile.
Yeah.
the smiling in the pictures is very notable. Like it's.
It reminds me of Darcy. Do you know what I mean? When he especially gets at his leanest, you see more and more that smile, that very innocent. It's very charming, actually. I quite care for it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
The biggest challenge was putting the menu together for this was.
And you can see a lot of Vi concern in the eyes. Like he squints a lot. He does a lot of like. He seems like he's talking from memory a lot. A lot of Vi stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't look as pinched as it would for Nijai. It looks more quizzical in a way.
All at once. So it was kind of trying to take the elements of flavors and ingredients and using the hand gloves, but kind of tighten it and make it.
Okay. If you guys think you've got that one, then let's go ahead and move on to the Naizi lady. We'll take that lead on that, Charlene.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd like to do her.
Miranda July. Yeah, she was tough. I was going back and forth between Naiji and Jaini for her, mainly.
Yeah. So I heard Naiji, I heard Zaini, and Naiji, Zaini, and Jaini, right?
And Nijai.
And Nijai, okay.
Nijai too.
The one, like, she seemed very, like, long. And
Yeah, that's the biggest thing that stood out to me.
Yeah.
also her eyes, like, it seemed like inward, like she was, like, seemed far away.
Yeah.
Feature-length film first time 6 years ago.
It's the emoting, right? That was the tricky part for me, anyways.
A couple of days ago. Great. I want to ask you about the sensibility.
So she has her hands placed at her lap, but it wasn't collapsed. Like it still had rigidity. It sort of was actually like placed there. And it's harder to like read when these riffs of Naizi that are more demure, you know, that are playing that languid role.
I saw the film a couple
But-
of days ago. Great. And I want to
More
ask
sensitive in a way?
the relationship in the film, which is between.
Because, yeah, those cheeks, they do look very, like, sheer, like in a Z.
Yeah. The mouth jumped out to me right away as shy.
You know, the big decision.
Had like the
It seems really quick. Your second movie, you do a lot of second guessing because
Did she riff with anybody?
cast him as the voice. Of
see, she riffed
and it was,
of ones that weren't really like
it was really
her
Mainstream?
necessarily, like
I'm writing a movie.
something Brownstein
I've been waiting for this one last year.
from Portlandia, and
By living my life.
Carrie Brownstein.
Carrie Brownstein. Yeah. But more demure, and also gave me like a little bit of
the stories, and it seems like a lot of
like the energy could be a little awkward, like when Naiji had that like affable but a little awkward energy, and reminded me a little bit of the one from Idiot Sitter,
Definitely, I wanted,
and that is
you know, couples.
Charlotte Newhouse. Thank
On that new Shimamia, what riff I got,
Who?
and similar kind of thing, was Diablo Cody, who's one that had been misread at one point as Johnny, so I could see how this riff could easily be misread that way.
You know, there's often the need
Yeah, let me do one that where she's actually looking at the camera, because I think that will give us more cues.
got the invitation.
Okay, so there.
From you.
To me, it looked like bipolar
This is
eyes.
because
Um,
my,
Right.
all my work is very much set in everyday world with regular people.
Cheeks aren't moving for those.
Yeah, the cheeks aren't moving for those who said with value face. And then the mouth is dry, and it has like that that a little bit of heaviness, not like a dry alpha or a knee dry, but it does have a little bit of that dry heaviness.
Radical in that these clothes actually do seem, I'm just making this up, I don't know if this was true, but to me...
Yeah, also her gesturing was, again, had more tension, looked like to me. I saw some video of her doing a role, and she was, it was like sort of a physical role, because she was just running around and stuff, and it just, like she seemed to have a gunslinger, or, like very, like rigidity in her torso to her hips and legs, and then tension in her arms. Even though she's very, very slender, that was still jumping out at me.
I just was.
How you guys doing on her? Are you starting to see it?
Yeah, I can.
In that case, I think there may be one or two more that were good to look at.
Yeah. What do you think? Do you want to look at? I know Will's self. Only a few people got him as Vaiji. Who got him as Vaiji?
A lot of people got Zaini.
Yeah. We should take a look.
I don't think anyone got him as Vaiji.
Okay, no one got. So
no one got Vaiji on him.
I think I did.
Yeah, I did. Anyone else get Vaiji on him?
No.
Nope.
Okay, go take the lead in that.
Yeah, and I was just using an odd one.
Yeah.
I actually did about as well as I normally do when I take my time.
I was going back and forth, Naiji, Zaini, and I was like, Vaiji a little bit, but didn't really take it seriously.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see any of the videos, but something about his energy when looking at the pictures just seemed like we've been finding a lot of IG doing like artistic and journalistic type stuff. And I was actually looking at the Vaiji collages recently, some of the MTV VJs that I grew up watching, and he reminded me of Kurt Loder a lot. Who's like I always thought of Kurt Loder as like this very like cool older dude, who like seemed very knowledgeable. And as soon as I saw this guy, I imagined that this guy seemed like a very like a knowledgeable kind of, very careful kind of person. So
a lot of gravitas. A lot of
gravitas. Very careful, but also very heavy, like just this heavy, like certainty, and it wasn't Naiji. So then I just went with Vaiji.
He's very measured. The Zaini was tricky for me because he has an unusual shaped mouth, and he's very, very measured in how he speaks.
Yeah.
Here's like one thing: the way he's touching himself, it seems a little more kneading, like kneading dough, than the Zaini. Because Zaini have a very similar thing they do with their gesturing, but.
And who writes books and short stories.
It's cool you got that through the photos, Bruno, because for me the drone helped quite a bit.
Yeah, I actually like the need of V actually connects, and having everybody online and being sort of on the spot makes me really nervous, and I've been like shaking this whole time, but it was good. That's actually how I feel like when I'm performing, like when I used to perform on stage with like music.
One thing, real quick, you just did it twice there. It's something I've mentioned about directives when they're playing back, and hunters do quite a bit. Is he's leaning back in the chair, casual style. He actually two things. One is when he adjusted his legs, he kind of Zaini that, and when Zaini do it, it has this kind of like really cool, just playful quality as they find their position, the seat. He took the adjusting as a seat, and he kind of like styled it. That made me think that it was actually a directive. The other one is what he's doing now. He's did it twice. The left arm is propped up on the chair. He's leaned back, and he's doing conductor gesturing. Even though he's back, he's like. So I'm rewind. He does it at least twice. That left hand. He may do it more from that rested position. Actually, I'll see if you'll see how he adjusts his legs. something about it seemed a little too like the tension that the Vaiji fighters have, that poise. Even as being casual, the way he kind of controlled that, it's an adjusting movement like that is very naturally adaptive. He kind of styled it a little bit.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
It doesn't
Watch that left hand.
I think as the years go by, the sort of grotesqueness of the disproportion strikes me more.
That's
and more and more.
low viscosity and a good amount of tensioning, particularly since he's in such a laid-back state.
Yeah, he's trying to play more casual, but he's still a directive.
Conductor hand. That's conductor hand.
Just down the road from here. And I've been working on a newspaper column that morning. It was off the back of a Maury opinion poll that had come out that showed that men in my demographic, i.e. baby boomers, I think I was only...
It almost seems a bit like a little bit arrogant in a way, doesn't it?
It is. He does have a bit. Some of his way of speaking, different physiology on the look, but aesthetically, but he reminds a bit of Hitchens.
Right.
Where like he has a lot of Zai to it and has like this vibe like just I'm right.
But also like there's
I
like
get
kind
that
of
quality from
darkness
his voice, yeah, too.
Yeah, he's a little bit maybe of a pessimist.
He's done like drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of literary, unusually for a Vaiji.
Reminds you of who? Did you say, Coach?
Christopher
Hitchens.
Hitchens.
Christopher Hitchens.
Sorry, what?
As far as the
Christopher
Delivery,
Hitchens.
not the
Christopher
book,
Hitchens.
but the delivery and that sort of just
Oh.
assumed correctness in what he's saying. And he
I guess
he goes like, and as you know, oh, another guy talked this too.
Yeah.
He's really famous. He used to do debates. He had a conversation with Noam Chomsky. He's like a journalist who does a lot of interviews.
I don't know.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking about.
And don't you think perhaps that
They made a movie like Gore Vidal versus him.
Yes. Who
Was
is
it Gore
that?
Vidal?
Not Vidal, the other one.
Oh yeah, right. Gore Vidal versus William F. Buckley.
William F. Buckley. So don't
Yeah.
you think that blah blah blah, not Chomsky, but
Very critiquing, right? Yeah.
very critiquing and very kind of like it is known in an academic sort of way.
Yeah, saying, well, did you take this into consideration? Blah,
Yes.
blah, blah. That sort of thing.
I'm gonna post a link in the chat for you guys to look at Kurt Loder. He's the person.
Yeah, Kurt Lowe is a really good one for the actual just look of him, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
I already
Nice.
checked him out, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting case overall, yeah. Very interesting.
But right, the thing he's doing there, that the way he touches himself like that, you actually see that more with Zaini, but a few Vaiji, like William F. Buckley, he would like lean back into his Zai, like, so what do you think about this? Doesn't it mean this? I think it does.
Yeah, I mean the thing about like Christopher Hitchens and William F. Buckley is I don't particularly care for them
Right.
as people. Like they're I find them very kind of
I see what you're
backwards.
saying.
But Kurt Loder, the person I just posted, he's like a music. He was like a music news guy.
Definitely, yeah, familiar.
And so I always found him very progressive, and I always found him interesting because he always seemed like very careful and steady, but at the same time he talked to a lot of like creative, pretty out there kind of people. And he has very severe lines.
Yeah.
And that's what this guy reminded me of.
With any gender mojo, there's always going to be samples that do the mojo justice, and then there's going to be some that are a little bit not as shiny, I guess you could say.
Yeah. So I don't think necessarily he's bad overall.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's bad
I would say, Bruno, that for me, Kurt Loder is a little cooler than this guy, and this
Right,
guy's
absolutely.
cooler than Hitchens and Buckley.
Yeah.
It's a spectrum.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, do we want to see anyone else?
I think
we saw humans.
Let's do that.
Did anyone say Jinai for her? For Rochelle? Bruno.
No.
Bruno did.
Jivey. Yeah, Bruno said Gina for me.
Just for context, it comes up the boyfriend of the Shiny.
All right. Let's see.
I was really thinking Gina. In one of the pictures, she struck me very G Alpha. I was thinking actually G Y.
It's called a V though.
Yeah.
Right.
She's got that lioness kind of quality to her face. I thought I was seeing a longness and like Beyonce kind of quality.
All right, so go ahead, take it away, Bruno.
I just love an event that celebrates with
Let's pull up a
Okay,
video.
sure.
and obviously
Let's see.
my most favourite things. Two of your favourite things. Absolutely.
One thing, she's being very feminine, but she's actually doing quite a bit with her gesturing in the common space. It's very ladylike, but she actually has repeatedly broken the common space and her jutting. Her body keeps sort of leaning forward, her head comes in.
She has very thin, like, hands and,
I'm sure
like,
that comes through room
they don't jump out.
She's very expressive.
Like, enveloping.
for you, Rochelle.
The models help with that. A lot of them are really
about being
lean.
a woman is the best.
She's also interesting in the way she keeps touching her shiny fella, dude. I thought that was a little bit interesting because it seemed
Right
like
there, that thing just did, this here, maybe,
Yeah, totally, right? And that's such a
Yeah.
so much emotive animation right there.
Right.
So much shape.
Yeah, that's a lot of really easy jutting.
Yeah.
If you watch
Very
his
natural
face,
state, very.
And very
if you watch his face, he's like basically just reacting to everything she's doing.
Catch up with you later. To get some more
Yeah, he does.
but she was quite comfortable taking lead throughout that entire exchange, both with her fella and the interviewer.
Yeah. It's hard to believe I didn't see Pilot straight up like that before.
Very lean and very elegant style.
Right.
And of course, a good amount of V.
Let's see the one.
Then we'll get to the live read. Is this?
That's the same one.
rude and then calls himself.
She looks like an objective Alicia Keys, I guess.
Smart.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, now he tells me that he's stolen.
You see the lots of jutting. Very comfortable. In fact, she's so smooth and elegant with it, you kind of don't realize how much she's jutting in forward, but she is. And as people mentioned, she touches the air in the common space, and she touches him. But even when there's not a person there, she's touching the air a lot. She pats the air quite a bit.
No. No.
was convincing, of course. And in Chloe, he actually got everything right, every single question. Pressure's on.
Well, I actually just happened to be looking at this other G9 sample today, Audra McDonald, and physically she's not too similar, I guess, but she has a similar energy. So just if I'd probably had more time, I probably would have guessed something else, but because I only had like literally 5 seconds to guess, I just had G9 and.
I think it's common. You want to, your first instinct is what you tend to proof against. Sometimes it bears out, sometimes it doesn't, but you usually do have something to go with, especially when doing it for a while.
Yeah.
All right, are we good so far? I mean, look at Franzi hands. They're a cool couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
Okay, so let's get into the advanced portion, which is the live read. We have, I think, 2 samples, so
We do.
we'll do at least 1, 2 if we have time.
All right. So our first sample is David Jason. David Jason. He's an actor, and I have a couple of videos here.
This gentleman is an icon of British television. Would you please give it up for Sir David Jason? Let me hear you.
Sir David Jason. Okay. David Jason. Okay.
All right. Let's take a look at his energy.
Pleasure. Thank you very much for coming on the show.
My pleasure. What a very nice welcome. Lovely audience you've got here today.
I mean, this is the best of a bad lot. And they only come in for a walk. Stay this way, and then they move. No, they're sweethearts. I always have a great audience. I'm really lucky. I tell you what, I thoroughly enjoyed this book.
Bless you. Thank you.
And I tell you what, because I have a lot of very, very, very young guests who come on here who've written an autobiography.
Oh, right.
And they're virtually embryos with them. So,
It's reminding me of somebody.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right there. That people tend to want to write their autobiography, if you like, because I suppose they get encouraged.
Yeah.
Several different ones. I'm getting
What happened to me was that I was never interested.
like I was getting a little Danny DeVito, but I was also getting a little what's the one? Silence of the Lambs.
Oh,
Anthony Hopkins? Yes, I was too.
I'm actually gonna say he kind of reminds me of Palpatine.
Yeah, I could see General Palpatine or.
Sorry, who going?
Palpatine, the guy that plays the bad guy in Star Wars, the big bad.
Oh, Emperor Palpatine. Okay. And what is he? His mojo?
He's an IG, I believe, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? I forget his name.
Okay. Interesting. You said that Jailene, you were getting a Jaini and an IG, because I was getting first very weak Nijai Joe Pesci riff, but then I thought of Anthony Hopkins as well, like you said.
Ian McDiarmid.
Right. I think we're good with him. Naiji. Just plug it in. I'm just kidding.
We're seeing maybe.
Anthony Hopkins for sure. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, that's a good one.
I wonder. But then I see like images like this one. I'm gonna like it seems. I'm gonna copy it over here. Like, doesn't that have a downward arc to the mouth? But
I suppose it does.
It looks like he's frowning there, but yeah.
Could be an aware frown.
It's interesting. Like his picture's younger. Like this one, I don't know. It could be shy. Like this one here, he's younger. I just posted.
Here he kind of reminds me of the one dude from Animals. What's his name? Is that? I forget. I forget his name. I don't even know.
And here. This is another picture of him younger.
Yes, I think you're absolutely right. The reason was that
There's so many different riffs that I'm getting. I don't entirely.
Yeah, he started out with giving me a riff of Jim Broadbent.
Yeah. I got a riff of like Christopher Walken a little bit.
Like here, it kind of looks like Danny DeVito from Taxi. Like, oh wait, did I paste that? I didn't. And this picture here, I just posted. He looks like, reminds me of Danny DeVito from Taxi.
I was working.
Yeah.
I found a really interesting picture of him when he's young.
The man of many faces.
And this looks this looks like it looks like weight and age, and he may be kind of short on the shorter side. It looks like his face is like stretched out, where in fact his natural true shape may be a little bit longer in the face.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he has a longer face when he's younger.
I couldn't think of anything.
Yeah.
Not that necessarily makes him subjective, but.
You know,
Is anybody thinking Nizi? This is possible?
I'm considering it, yeah.
Possibly, yeah.
We thought, well, then maybe he took over the shop. So I got him.
Although, I don't feel like I see that strong of a case for logic-based cheeks.
So Roy Clark put pen.
I feel like I see a lot of moding, yeah.
Filming
in
Manchester, and it's become out hospital.
You take over Ronnie Barker's role with Linda Barron, you know.
I can't believe he's not been ready yet. He seems like he's in so many different movies and stuff.
No, well,
Yeah.
not with Nurse Gladys. No. Oh dear, heaven forbid. No, that's Arkwright's territory. No, my character now has a desperate attempt with Wavy Maybe. Wavy Maybe.
Christopher Lloyd's a shiny too, right?
Roy Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Widow, played by Stephanie Gold. We've got Wet Eric. Wet Eric, I tell you, he's called Wet Eric because he's so depressing about the weather.
That young picture of him makes me feel a little more comfortable going with Naiji, as was, sort of one of our first instincts.
Mhm.
No, I can feel that. So I said to him, I've got this idea, I'll have you on the weather chart with your...
But here, this picture here that I'm posting now, he reminds me of, somebody said, Joe Pesci.
Yeah, that was my very first riff, but I wasn't too clear on that.
I feel like I'm seeing strongly the Anthony Hopkins riff, but yeah, what were you gonna say, Johnny?
Got nice reactions from the audience is that there seems to be lacking a bit at the moment because we've got a lot of quite aggressive sort of humour, if you like, quite modern humour, quite a strong language humour. What we seem to be lacking is some of that more gentle type humour. It's, I tell you what it is, it's cheeky humour, it's postcard humour.
So the smile that he's got going on here,
innuendo, if you like. One of the things
I'm not really sure what that is. It seems like G to me, maybe. It reminds me almost a little bit of a Zaini, the guy who plays Mr. Bean.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah. Kind of, yeah.
But I don't think he's a Zaini.
He seems directed, right?
It could
Oh,
be,
wait. Oh, okay. Was Rowan Atkinson updated to Zaini?
I believe
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that picture, Bruno, he looks directive. There's a piercingness to the eyes, I feel like.
In the picture that he just posted?
Yeah, where he's smiling.
Really? Because I don't feel like I see a piercingness. I kind of reacted in the opposite direction you did from that picture.
Yeah, it seemed like he had like a open.
Yeah.
Open is, I suppose,
the
sort of
direction that picture taking is more towards. It is less towards Naiji, I think, and more towards like the alpha.
I don't
know.
Not
necessarily Ni Alpha.
Well,
but
I don't know. For
what's
me
the
anyway,
name of that? What's the name of that actor who in I can't remember the name of it, but inconceivable is his line.
All right, the shiny dude. What's
He's updated. Yeah, that's that.
He's updated too.
I guess this guy could
be.
He's interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
Oh,
maybe.
Okay. So it is.
Maybe we should put a little more consideration in that. Although I don't know about shoot.
Right.
Yeah. I'm kind of like, hey, check this out. This is his wife, him and his wife. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards like Ni Alpha, but.
Yeah, I don't know. When I first saw him, I was like, he kind of looks like he might be a Nijai or a Naiji, or I don't know, but.
I don't know. His features kind of seem like, I don't know, like the way Coach described it once with like the subjectives and the hunters. They have like interesting features as compared to like the pilots.
Yeah.
This guy's interesting.
Subjective.
Because his eyes, like even though he has like a wider face, his eyes like look really small relative to the rest of his face. I don't know.
To me, they just seem really popped out, but in a sort of like altered way.
There was one more that Malcolm sent over. Actually, this seems like around the same time. Let me see if I can find one that's earlier, like a younger. That'll be interesting. David Jason.
What's the mojo of Brendan Gleeson?
Is it Nizy?
Is he Nizy?
Brendan Gleeson? British actor.
That's what I'm thinking. That's Nigeria, isn't it?
Let's see, Brendan Gleeson.
I think Nizy is probably what he is, yeah.
Nigy.
Oh, he's a Nigy. Okay.
Alright, I found some earlier ones, so let me load that up.
What's that?
I'm loading up some of an interview that's like, he's younger.
And I just posted a picture in the chat with where he is with a confirmed Nizai male. I think he might be a co-star in a TV show or something.
Here he kind of looks a little bit like Robin Williams in a way. I don't know. A little bit.
The other guy's called Ronnie Barker.
Because they had to survive.
Interesting. They do look kind of different to me.
Look at the state of it. He's like, he's like a lavatory. Look at those glasses. I mean, the kids must have crucified me.
Okay, do we see like Bobble, or do we see anything that would lead us down the path of either a knee alpha or an eye alpha, like the piercingness or the...
I don't know, I feel like he's got poise to him.
He's got poise, but...
I feel like he's got poise.
But the poise can, you know, adaptives can also have poise.
I know, it looks natural.
Yeah, is it a natural state poise? And that I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
His energy is very upbeat.
It is, but that's actually what's...
I mean, he's a comedian, so...
Yeah, it reminds me of Anthony Hopkins in exactly the role Jailene mentioned of Dr. Hannibal Lecter, where he does act like kind of upbeat and a little bit... But with Hannibal Lecter, there's always this uneasy energy, which is what throws you off. This guy, it doesn't seem like this guy's like creepy or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, Anthony Hopkins hit me as a bit more of a predatorial energy. Not saying anything about his character, but a bit more of like a dangerous, like dangerously cunning kind of energy, you know?
Yeah, it's what makes it so cool, like that character.
Yeah.
But this is I feel like the similarity is kind of superficial.
Yeah.
And I keep getting flashes of it, but I've also, you know, that happens. Sometimes there's like Nijai that make me think of Naiji. Sometimes there's Nizai that make me think of Naiji, and vice versa, and I just can't shake the connection, even though I know it's wrong. And I think that may be the case here. I think we may not be looking at Naiji, Although that young picture, when he's very young, Naiji, when he's very young, to me, Naiji seems like a good answer for that picture here. Let me paste it yet again. This is him, age 14.
Oh yeah, wait, yeah, I saw that.
I mean, I could see that being Naiji, but I don't really know. Well, I think the one thing I am feeling more certain about is the G, having G in the top 4, and somewhere in the conscious powers.
I don't know. My second guess right now would be probably Nijai at this point. I think I'm seeing values based.
What would your first guess be?
Naiji.
Oh.
But I'm willing to change by the time I make my guess. I'm not totally decided. Right? You know, I'm not. You know.
Let me see. There's another one here. Let me load that one up.
I'm trying to see from a different perspective, but Naiji just keeps popping out like a sore thumb to me.
Horses? Yeah. It hasn't been on. You haven't done this for how long?
Oh, God, you tell me. I don't know, 20 odd years.
Had you intended to ever do it again? Had you pretty much...
No, we didn't. I never did because, as you know, unfortunately, bless him, John Sullivan, the creator of it all, he very unfortunately died. And as Nick Lyndhurst used to say, that John Sullivan made the ammunition and we just fired it. So he was the brains behind the whole thing.
Did he sing the theme tune as well?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Right here, he's reminding me a lot of that one Vaiji dude, the way he would sit back and do the conductor thing, but he's an IG, so I feel like I'm seeing wizard hands
That's
and that sort of thing.
it. And it was
The way he plays around with his hands there, it seems like he's got
What
that.
about Nai-Z? I mean, we talked about that briefly, but I mean, we're considering like, Nai-Z, we're considering Nijat, we're considering Nizai. I think Nai-Z is also a possibility.
The Nai-Z, the reason why I don't feel like he's a Nai-Z is because he seems aware of what he's doing.
during the course of the conversation.
And it's different. I know that Nai-Z, they can sort of be aware of what they're doing too, but it's different the way that it comes across and the way like it feels as far as like, the energy, the qualia. I don't know. I'm trying to describe something that is really hard for me to describe, but I feel like I'm seeing Nai-Z here with him.
How does it feel?
I don't know. Curious to see
I don't
what you
know,
guys have said.
It's interesting. Like the kind of like moan to his voice, like it sounds like it could be Jai.
Maybe, yeah.
But I don't know.
I got together with Nick for a first run through, came back for that. As soon as I put on the gear and started to look at the screen, daft as a brush, but he's lovable, we like him, you know, he's a cheeky.
But I am most heavily considering Naiji as well, so it's kind of.
He becomes a dopey bloke.
I think that's fair.
And he's in the room with us right now! So we've got an absolute treat then. We can actually show a very small snippet.
I think this guy's an IC.
Yeah.
The other dude.
Right.
But I don't know about him. I'm not reading him really that strongly.
Wearing clothes, pretty smooth. I thought that, you know, if I was to wear these, no one would recognise me.
Yeah, Nazi maybe, I don't know.
Incognito.
Yeah, it seemed classic, like Nizez sort of comedy. Interesting.
Could be like a Frank Barone kind of character, like from Everybody Loves Raymond, the dad.
John and I used to
Here, another one.
each other's company.
Another person he sometimes. Sorry, go ahead.
I did get Bill Murray breath a little bit. I guess that's why I'm considering Nazi a little bit.
You were standing watching the corner having a drink. He's always a blunt. He said, "Oh, no,
Those digits look very short to me.
there." A woman came out. To leave. Wasn't there.
Meaning objective?
He looked around.
Meaning like gatherer hands.
There was people to have seen him, but nobody's had. But he was defending he meant to do it. And John told me this and I didn't see right near which balance.
Could be. He reminds me a little bit of Ziny David Hyde Pierce sometimes. Here's a link to the pictures.
What do you think? And when he told me the story, I said, I think I got forward backward. Oh, that's what he said. Oh, I didn't do that. I said, no, I know you didn't do that.
Interesting.
Has more emotiveness, seems like, in his cheeks than David Hyde Pierce.
So the next thing you know, John Wright into this. And what's quite interesting.
Yeah. It could be an ad serve riff, maybe.
Yeah.
Could be.
Could be.
Bring off art.
Hmm.
It's got a lot of interesting work. One of the things I remember, someone came up to me one day and said, "You know, I want to ask you a question." I said, "Do you know that thing when you fell through the bar?" And I said, "Yes." Is it an accident? What do you mean, is it an accident?
That seems like very bardic delivery right there, right?
Yeah, that expression.
It seems very easy.
Yeah.
I'm not, and it does, I guess, seem Hunter.
Yeah. Well, it seems very nice to me. I don't know. I'm really getting a strong signal right now. Everything about the way he moves and stuff. It's very slinky, very sort of like
Dutch because he shows up in comedies with a lot of Nazi and.
Robert Ford and construction and.
Yeah. I know. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like Naiji.
Oh no, that's totally. I mean, that's totally fine. Just I'm just noting that that's like.
Oh my God! What does he remind me of? What that like main character from Parks and Recreation? What's his name?
Oh, Oberman.
Yeah.
Is the
Chris Pratt?
blah blah. Forget. Parks and
I don't know.
Recreation.
Like,
Also known as Ron Swanson.
Yes, Ron Swanson.
Nick Offerman?
Mm-hmm. Yep,
Oh, he's an IZ, right?
Offerman. He's a Nazi.
oh, he's an IZ. Okay.
Yeah.
What about Ron Burgundy?
I think it's just the mustache that's reminding me.
Maybe.
I don't know. Elements of his whole face.
I feel like
Kinda
his
remind me
cheeks
of that.
are
Like his eyes too, especially. But
Hang on.
I know, with him, I feel like I'm seeing a heaviness in the cheeks that seems like very Z.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Nick Offerman's much more deadpan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got that sourpuss kind of like boss look to him.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we 5 minutes or 5 minutes or for pictures? Okay. So we have 5 minutes to take a look at pictures.
I was hoping maybe we could do a second read tonight, but it's alright. It's all good.
Well, if we're ready to.
This isn't quite challenging. We're already pretty close to 7:30.
Yeah, that's
Unless you guys haven't had it now, but it seems like you guys are still deliberating a bit.
I think so.
Yeah, don't push yourself to do a second read just to do it. You know, you want to do a quality read first one. We'll move on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Absolutely true.
Here's another interesting picture. Could be arriving or waving at somebody. You guys think he seems a little bit detached, kind of far away, rather than drinking in?
Well, it's also hard to tell because he is a little, older.
Older, yeah.
So that the lids of the eyes, has a different quality.
Yeah, but he does seem hooded to me, I think, in this picture.
Because, check this image out that I just posted. His
Yeah.
eyes are like.
Here he looks intense.
I can't agree with intense on this one.
I don't know. It's just something I see.
Like in the pictures, like he's doing like a brow lift here, right? So it's kind of like
very, very intent is I suppose the word that I'm looking for. He's looking at you and he's drinking you in, but it seems like he's got.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a hunter doing that, that kind of has a more intense look.
Yeah, I mean, that picture in particular, Jailene, reminds me a lot of Joe Pesci.
Yeah.
And that was the first riff that I got, is Joe Pesci, maybe a little bit of Bob Hoskins, who's also in the guy.
I'm between Nizai and Nijai.
I'm thinking Jaini too, if you didn't already say that.
Yeah, like the.
I don't know. I like my head is telling me Naiji, but my gut's telling me Naizi. So I don't know.
My hands telling me.
Well, my hands are telling.
My hands can't stop clicking. He's a good case. I'm quite interested to see what he turns out to be, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Whatever his mojo is. I have a feeling Coach is gonna be like, all right, well, he was difficult, but.
Well, totally different from what you guys were thinking.
All right, he was tricky. He was tricky.
You guys were right.
So here's another one of the pictures that made me think Nijai right away, and it's the first result on Google. Um, it looks it just seems like a little bit like a warm, expectant kind of, yeah. And again reminded me of Joe Pesci.
Joe Pesci is what mojo?
He and Bob Hoskins are they were read as Naiji because they're very gruff and like they play kind of gravitas, or their type of humor is a little more. I mean they're basically read as Naiji for a long time, but they are Nijai.
Salty Nijai.
Salty Nijai. Salty is yeah.
I see.
And
yeah, these guys are really interesting.
Okay, we're at time, folks.
Okay.
Start off with you, Bruno. Where do you land?
I guess I'm gonna go back to my original guess of Nijai. Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
Nijai.
Yeah. For me, I think I'm gonna have to go with Naiji, then Naizi, then Jaini, then Nijai.
Okay.
I think I'll go Naiji, then Nijai, then Naizi.
Okay. How about
Mitchell?
you?
Sorry.
You've been quiet this whole time.
You've been quiet this whole. I thought.
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
I've been here.
Now watch, this is going to be the only one who gets quiet.
I've been here.
What's Mitchell just gets.
I've been talking to people to this. Anyway, I'm gonna go with Naiji, then Nijai, then Naizi.
Okay. Cool. How about you, Adimus?
I'm going to say Nizai, then Naiji, then Jaini.
Interesting.
I'm gonna say Nijai, then Naizi, then Nizai.
Alrighty. This was a tricky one. as I think Glenn alluded to, that was he is tricky because he is a bit of a salty Ni Mojo, but he is a Nizai.
Nizai.
Yes!
Oh, Demas!
Demas, don't help me with him.
What?
There were two of the Doctor Who that were discovered to be Nizai. Those two, they remind me of him. They have that kind of humor. They also tend to be playing more like a leading role, more serious, and they have more squinty eyes also.
Mm-hmm.
You know what those are? Can you put Doctor Who under? Actually, IMDb.
That's good. This is your first day back, and you get the get the library correct.
So, Doctor Who.
Doctor Who needs eye.
It's gonna be on the
You
old
can put that in at work.
Okay, so ones I'm talking about are going. Sure. Okay, why don't you? Never mind. Just type in Doctor Who into Google Images, because they split the show up. Unfortunately, the show actually had 2 runs. Everything simple for us. Okay. So I guess he's the first one or whatever like that. But these two right here. These two. Right there.
Oh, they can see it. Let me copy the image. Just pasted the image, and it's the ones the third from the right and the second from the right. But yeah, the third I can really see it.
That's the one that we're helping the most. Third from the right. That's a neat eye.
That is a neat eye. I see.
Excelente. You guys are dialing in. So actually, you did well because you guys were actually. I think it was an unusual riff we're not used to seeing as much. Although I think it's more common for maybe British to have a riff of Nizai that crosses over into comedy and drama a bit more. In most like the American cinema, you see it a little bit, but mainly Nijai do that. Nijai are the ones you see a lot more of that. There are some Nizai that cross over. I can't think of the top of my head that do the drama and the comedy, but it's not as much. Who'd be a good example of that? Yeah, there really aren't as many. That's why I think like the Joe Pesci thing happened, because I think you saw salty knee alpha, and there's just so many more knee Jai that do that than the knee Zai. You caught on the comedy thing, classic Nizez comedy.
Nizez comedy.
And that is one thing that you will see, though, even in, say, American, is that the knee Zai that hang a lot out with Nai-Z comedic troops, they tend to be pretty salty. Not in a dramatic actor kind of salty way you see more of the knee Jai playing gangsters and whatnot, but it's sort of like a, down, bring anything crazy kind of attitude. What was it, Rafi from
The League?
The League, exactly. Okay, great session, everyone. Next is going to be, not sure who's coming next, but it's on the forums. Okay, then this Thursday I'll be meeting up with Ben when we're doing some politics. In the next week I'd like to add on even more, so whoever can be available and have stuff for me to look into, it'd be fun to actually hang out. And we'll be doing, if at all possible, a Demas the following week, so you can have more than one guest on. All right, so that's pretty much it. Everyone knows what projects we're working on, right?
Do you just need a list of people in that bubble?
A list of people that you don't think we have that you're interested in, and that'll be a great place for us to kind of start geeking out.
Cool, and how many, more or less?
We want to kind of get a good amount, but having like 10 to 20 to start with would be a nice starting place, and we can build from there.
Okay, and you want it about a week before...
Yeah, in fact, I have a week to have them so I can actually do what I can as far as reading. That'd be great.
Okay.
And then actually the more names you can give me would be the best, because then I can just pick the 10 or 20 that are easiest for me to read each session we get together. So the more you give me, because that's our plan, we're basically going to read everyone we can that's of interest in that bubble, and we'll start with the easier ones and work our way in. We'll kind of develop it together. Great to work cases you all and kind of go through the basic protocols of working it properly. Bubble reading, mass reading, fun stuff. All right, look forward to it. Advanced work. Okay, everyone. Have a good week.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Great to have you back, Demas.
Yeah.
Thank you. Glad to be back.
Yay.